Hey there, puzzlers! My name is FLEB, and today I want to cover a packing puzzle, kind of similar to ones that I've covered before. You may remember the Aztec puzzle, where you found a trick to fill in the grid. And you may remember the Picasso puzzle, where we used the pegs to limit where the pieces could go, along with intuition. But in this puzzle, which is called the Wims mat, you have to use more general techniques and intuition than either of these two. The puzzle consists of 9 pieces, which are shown here. There's no differentiating between one side or the other, so they could be flipped, and you have to fill them into the grid so they make a crisscross pattern. Here's the start of what it might look like. But filling all 9 pieces into the grid is tricky, because there aren't very many constraints on where they can go. In this sense, the puzzle is firmly in the set of puzzles known as checkerboard puzzles. Now, the first checkerboard puzzle was invented around 1880 by Henry Lawrence, who filed a patent for a 15-piece puzzle that he called the sectional checkerboard. And since then, the puzzles have become very common. You might have seen one yourself. When analyzing these types of puzzles, one of the ways that people tend to find all the solutions is by creating computer programs. But this is a puzzle designed by humans for humans, so we should be able to solve it ourselves. Let's take a closer look, and let's get started. There are a few things to note about this puzzle that will make it a little bit easier to solve. One of them is that the pieces can only go in certain ways. Each one is not built of a pure checkerboard pattern, it's built of a 2x1 block pattern. And you think that distinction might not be significant, but it is. For instance, this piece can never go in this way into the grid. All 2x1 blocks of the same color face the same direction, so this piece can never go in vertically like this. You can tell that from the way the 2x1 blocks are aligned around the tray. So this must go in horizontally. And so for a piece like this, there's really only 2 different orientations, this way or that way. A piece like this, however, has 4 different orientations here, there, and then flipped over. So my strategy is going to be to fill in the border and then fill in the center. Now, it's probably not going to immediately fill in correctly, but what it will do is it'll be close enough to the correct grid that I can fiddle around the pieces, take some out here, put some others in there, and get to the answer. Let's give it a shot. I've sped up the video of me solving this puzzle to save time. It took me around 3 to 4 minutes to get the grid correct. But as you can see, I put in the border and then moved towards the center. It doesn't quite work, but it's close enough that I can start pulling out pieces from here and there. And after a little bit, I'm able to finally get the answer. You'll notice that, unlike the Picasso puzzle, we're not using elements of the puzzle to guide ourselves here. We know that the pieces are constrained on where they fit, but we're not using something like 2 pegs that are far apart, or the wood grain, as in the Aztec puzzle. It's much more intuitive, it's much more fiddly. And yet, with enough effort, there it is. As you can see, all the 2x1 blocks are facing the same way, if they're the same color. Overall, I find puzzles like this very interesting, because you can't straight logically solve them. You must use some sort of intuitive logic to get to the end. And I like the fact that the solve state doesn't actually show you the solution, unlike a lot of other packing puzzles. Now, the method that I used here just got us to 1 solution. It doesn't tell us how many solutions there are overall. I haven't written a computer program to find the number of solutions yet, or what they all look like, but I'm hoping to do that sometime in the future. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and as always, happy puzzling!